story you will only see here, responding to a crisis. What should a community do when police officers take their own lives?
Of course, it is a difficult conversation to have, but a necessary one, because for the third straight year, police officer suicides have outnumbered those killed in the line of duty. 159 officers taking their lives last year. And a story you will only see here. 41 Action News reporter Sarah Plake spoke to a police officer's widow who says we can't sweep this issue under the rug anymore.
On April 22nd, 2015, my late husband, Sergeant Brett Doolittle of the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, he ended his life.
Lindsey Doolittle came home that evening, like a regular day. She parked her car.
That's when I saw my husband in the garage, and he had ended his life. He had died by depression, but the tool that he used was helium.
It'll be almost 4 years since that devastating day.
I forced myself to come down here. I mean, I live here, and I forced myself to do the uncomfortable so I can live.
Doolittle found her voice, becoming an advocate and activist, especially speaking out for widows whose spouses were in law enforcement. For the third straight year, law enforcement suicides outnumbered line of duty deaths. 159 officers ended their life in 2018.
It's seen as a shameful act or weakness, which it's none of the above. It's a mental health condition.
But 4 years later, Doolittle says she still hasn't gotten the understanding, outreach, and support from the place she may have needed it the most, Brett's police department.
The police department's absence not only added to my grief, I mean, I had already blamed myself, but then I started to hate myself too.
After Brett's death, she wrote KCKPD Chief Terry Zeigler a detailed 15-page letter in hopes he'd understand what she was going through.
It was so hard to write that letter, and he didn't do anything.
She says she felt blamed when she read the police report and autopsy report noted the couple had issues in their marriage. Doolittle found Brett's suicide note.
This occupation has aged me horribly, and I believe turned me mostly into someone I am not.
I believe the words that he wrote in that letter are 100% true.
Chief Zeigler says Brett's suicide wasn't handled the best way.
We had a suicide when I'm 4 months into being chief, so it was a very difficult thing to deal with.
It wasn't until Captain Dave Melton and Detective Brad Lancaster were killed in the line of duty in 2016 that the department started to ramp up its mental health services.
These are drastically different situations. We managed it and did the best we can. You know, I've tried to grow a lot since then and tried to be a lot more understanding of mental health.
Zeigler gives this book to his recruits, Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement, to help them take control of their own mental health.
Any support.
Doolittle says her door is always open to Zeigler and the police department.
I just want the widows of law enforcement suicides that were acknowledged and not blamed. If it was our choice, our husbands would still be here.
Sarah Plake, 41 Action News.
Doolittle found SAS, Suicide Awareness Survivor Support. The organization told us healing begins when you stop trying to blame someone or something.
It just doesn't go anywhere. It just hurts them. So I think it's just a matter of learning and understanding that you were there, you did the best you could at the time with the knowledge you had.
Suede and her husband started SAS after their son ended his life. You can hear much more from her on her website. We also have how difficult these conversations can be and how we can erase the stigma of suicide. All that information you need to know available right now at kshb.com.